Hey, what's up, everybody? And welcome back to another edition of the show. This is the Bader Show. I'm Mark Bader. This is episode 454. And man, we got a hammer as today's guest. He was NCAA All-American, third as a freshman. He just won a U20 World title out of for the United States. He's out of Minnesota right this moment. It is Max McEnelly. Max, how you doing, man? Thanks for joining us.
I'm doing good, man. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you bet. Congrats on all the success. I know it's got to be exciting. A great freshman campaign. Amazing finish this summer at the U20s. But we'll get there, but I want to go back to the beginning, right? Like, what's the story? How did this kid get involved in wrestling? Like, how'd you get into it from the get-go?
Yeah, basically, I was a hockey player and a football player growing up. Those were the things that I really wanted to do. My dad played hockey, my whole family did. And so that was kind of, the path that I was kind of set to follow. And then, my neighbors growing up, they lived across the street from us. They were wrestlers. And it's kind of funny, but when you're a little kid, it makes a little bit more sense. Like they'd come home from these tournaments and they'd have these trophies and stuff like that. So as a, 10-year-old kid, an 8-year-old kid, I was like, well, I want to have those trophies too. So started getting into wrestling because of the awards almost. It's kind of stupid as it sounds, but that's kind of the beginning of it. Neighbors got me into it, and then I just kind of took off with it. Kind of followed what my brother did when we were younger. So once he, decided to stop playing hockey, stop playing baseball, I kind of followed in his footsteps with that, and eventually just stick to wrestling and football throughout high school.
All right. I guess hockey family, Minnesota, that's not all that big of a surprise. It happens. And it sounds like you like hockey, you like football, you like wrestling, you like physical, rough,
Yeah.
engaging sports. Tell me about football. 'Cause I'm guessing you weren't a bad football player.
Yeah, I mean, wrestling or football was like that was my favorite sport growing up. I mean, that's what I wanted to play in college actually until like my junior year of high school.
Wow.
So always loved playing football. Got recruited a little bit by some smaller Division I programs and stuff like that, but ultimately, I mean, just wrestling was by far, what I was better at, and I personally believe I made the right choice. So. Yeah, I mean, football, I still love football. I still watch it, still follow the game. But obviously, wrestling has just kind of taken me to another level.
Yeah. So football, hockey guy, you kind of left hockey by the side, football, wrestling guy. At what
Mhm.
point did you either like wrestling more or get better at it or realize that it was your path to like, you got hooked on it. It's like this is my future, right? Maybe a little too small for football and
Yep. I would say kind of when I realized I was gonna, take wrestling and kind of go to college with that is probably when I won Fargo when I was U16. So that would be going into my junior year, I believe, or maybe it was going into my sophomore year. But, that was kind of when I took off with wrestling. Even then, I mean, I still played football through my senior year, so I was never wrestling year round. I mean, I'd take 4 months off for the football season, and then once that was done, I'd kind of, get back into wrestling shape. So, but I would say once I, got into my later years of high school, like after sophomore year, going into junior year is kind of when I, started wrestling a lot more in the summer times, doing Fargo, doing the US Open and stuff like that. And then, saw some success at those tournaments. And then, once I, came on my first visit here at the University of Minnesota, like, it was home and, that was kind of it. I mean, I was kind of sold on it. So that's kind of how I got here.
yeah. Man, you talk about being like maybe 16 and really getting into wrestling. Like you were undefeated as a freshman, undefeated as a sophomore in high school, right? Like did you see that much success growing up and was it not that shocking that you were like cuz not that many people come in high school and rip off two undefeated seasons. Three, I guess actually, right?
Yeah, I guess. So how it kind of start? I mean, when I was in youth wrestling before seventh grade, I was pretty good. Like I'd won youth state titles and stuff like that. But obviously, you can't tell how good somebody's going to be in the future based off youth state titles, right?
Mhm.
So once I got into seventh grade, I cracked the varsity lineup. I was wrestling 120 pounds, and I probably had like 12 losses on the season, 15 losses. And then I was actually the first seventh grader from our high school to make it to state. So made it to the state tournament somehow. And then I went 0-1 actually, seventh grade year at the state tournament. And then eighth grade year wrestled 132 and kind of had similar seasons, lost like 12, 15 times. And that year I didn't make it to the state tournament. And so then after that, I was cutting a lot of weight for that seventh and eighth grade year. So after that, I was like, all right, that's kind of when I was in my football mindset. So I was like, I'm going to get bigger. So, yep, got bigger, wrestled 170 my freshman year, and then ended up winning a state title. And then just kind of progressively got a little bit bigger after that. I was pretty dedicated to the weight room. Obviously, if I wanted to play football, so I kind of knew I needed to. So I kind of, credit some of my like athleticism and, power from football training. I think that part of it really, the athleticism part of that kind of transferred over to the wrestling mat. And then once I've kind of fully, dedicated myself to wrestling and actually learned how to wrestle, I kind of just took off with it. And so when I was younger, I think I just got away with, being a little bit more athletic than some of the people. But yeah, it's kind of just how it all began.
You went. I think you said you were 120 or maybe 126 in seventh grade, and then 132 or something like that in eighth grade,
And
and
then
then
went to one.
170.
Yep.
You hit. I'm
Yep.
guessing you hit a growth spurt and decided to hit the weight room kind of all at once.
Yeah. So it's funny, like eighth grade year, I didn't make it to state as an individual, but our team made it to state. And so I was cutting to 132 and I made weight for the team state tournament. And then after team state was done in Minnesota, we have a 1 day high school state tournament for team. The next day I was like 155. So I was hitting my growth spurt and kind of cutting weight, and that didn't really mix too well. And then after I just shot up and it kind of just kept going.
Wow, that sounds
Yeah.
yeah. That
Yeah.
that jump overnight or whatever over weekend or whatever is wild. Um,
Yeah.
so you take those laws. You don't even qualify for state as an eighth grader. You come in, you run the table, undefeated as a freshman, undefeated.
I had one loss.
Oh, you had
One
one
loss.
loss as a freshman. Okay,
One loss.
all
Yep.
right, but still to be in that, were you at all surprised? One loss, zero losses, hardly any difference, right? State champ, you really dominant as far as the wins go. Like, were you surprised at all? Did you think at the beginning of the year this was
Um,
possible from a guy who didn't qualify the year before?
I've never been surprised. I know I've always put in the work. I've always worked really hard. So it was more just like, finally, I'm getting to the point where I'm doing these things and I can finally prove it to these people. So I'd never say I was really surprised because I know the work that I put in and I worked really hard for it. But, it was kind of just more like a time to prove these people wrong thing. Because even my freshman year of high school, like people didn't even really know who I was. A lot of times now you get these kids that are, super advanced from youth wrestling to through seventh and eighth grade, and then they're already seen as the state as state title contenders. But for me, it was never that way. I think coming into the year, my freshman year, I was ranked like seventh or something like that in the state, and kind of just went through the list and of people that were ranked ahead of me and just beat them all, and then eventually won state my freshman year and kind of just took off from there.
Man, that's pretty exciting. It's almost like you didn't win nationals this year, but the same kind of thing. I know you. I don't think you were ranked in the top 10 at the beginning of the year. I could be wrong, but I know you were like a win here, a win there, and you just kind of slowly climbed your way to the top. Did it kind of feel similar in that sense?
Yeah, for sure. Same type of thing. Kind of coming into college, I mean, people kind of knew who I was, but nobody really had an idea of, or didn't never thought that I would, do as well as I did. But in my mind, like I was before the season even started, my goal is to win the whole thing. So it never surprised me. It was more just like I'm gonna go out there and show all these people I'm gonna prove them all wrong. So that's kind of always been my mindset going into these tournaments when I'm facing guys who are ranked above me. It's like I know I can beat them, so why not go out and do it?
Yeah. And I know you said you went to Minnesota and really liked it, right? But as far as recruiting goes, did you take any other visits? Did you consider any schools or think maybe that there was another school that was could be the right one?
No, Minnesota's the only visit that I took. Yeah. I mean, this place is home to me, so it's been home to me for 20 years. So my family's here. I love the coaching staff. I have a great relationship with all of them. Love the guys on the team. So it's kind of just like, why not? I mean, wrestling for your home state, like I've said this before, it's like it's different wrestling for your home state Like they've seen you come through high school and they see you finally get to the Gophers, and that's the team that they're all going to watch in the big duels and stuff like that. So the you can definitely feel the crowd getting around you, and you appreciate it more.
Who are some of your favorite Gophers growing up? Because they had so many good teams and so many good wrestlers. Either you went to duels or you followed it online. I'm assuming if you said you've been around for 20 years, like who are the
Yeah.
Gophers that inspired you?
Yeah, when I was younger, it was like Tony Nelson, Brett Favre, Logan Storley, watching all those guys, even Gable. Like I was in high school and he was, coming through college. And I was actually at the first duel that he started against Oklahoma State, I believe, when they pulled his red shirt. So just watching guys like that growing up, how could I not want to come here and wrestle?
Yeah. You said your goal at the beginning of the year was to win an NCAA title. Goals and what people believe or hope for or think or like are different, right? This is my goal and this is what I
Hmm.
think or believe or know is going to happen, right? Like where were you between but this is my goal and maybe how realistic that thought was in your mind?
Yeah, I totally believe that I was going to win it. I mean, obviously, when you go out there, there's everybody has doubts when they go onto the wrestling mat. They're lying if they say they don't. Like everybody does. But it's how you kind of control it and how you keep yourself calm. So every time I go out there, I mean, I know I can win. I know I've put in the work. But I mean, everybody has, some those doubts, especially when you're going up, like against Carter the first time. Like he's a four-time NCAA champ. I'm an unproven freshman, coming in. Like, how am I going to do against him? But in my mind, like, I also have the thought that I put in the same work. Like, I can go out there and I can compete with these guys and I can go out there and beat them. So,
Maybe explain, yeah, leading to Carter, which is later one of the later duels in the season, I believe. But you had an overtime win against Gabe Arnold, Maiwa. I think maybe you beat Silas Allred, who was maybe a top 10 guy. You had some like incremental wins like leading up to that, and did those help feed your confidence rolling into what you knew was one of the greatest ever?
yeah, when you pick up wins against those, guys who are highly ranked, I mean, it definitely helps confidence, and that's just, kind of what the regular season's for. It's kind of just, gearing up for the postseason. And, win or lose, the next time I go out there, I'm always going to believe that I can win. Like at NCAAs, after I lost to Parker, like I still had the mentality that I was going to go out there and come back and get third. Like that was the only thing that was on my mind. So yeah, I mean, it's good. It's a good confidence booster, but it doesn't really change anything whether you win or lose. Like every time you prepare for a match, you try to stay consistent as possible.
Yeah. Maybe talk me through. It was Big Ten Finals, if I'm not mistaken, right? Your match with Carter. How you felt before it? I'm sure you know plenty about him. Was there a game plan? And I know you didn't win, but how you felt like you executed during the match?
Yeah, going into that, I don't really do game plans like that. There'll be specific things that coaches will tell me that somebody might do, but it's never really been about game planning for me. It's always just been about going out there and just wrestling how I wrestle. So, going again against in the Big Ten Finals against Carter, like I was very confident. I was prepared. I felt like I had put in the work. I had great matches leading up to that, and obviously I knew that he was going to be, the lights went out. Got the lights back on.
That's cool. But you were talking about wrestling Carter.
Yeah, so going into that match, I felt completely fine. Like, was mentally prepared to, go out and battle with him. I knew that he was going to put a lot of forward pressure, like he always does. He's kind of known for that. So our whole thing was, not letting him push you around the mat. Like, try and hold center as much as you can, and not let him like bully you around the mat. And it's kind of what he does to a lot of people. So it was more a mentality thing rather than a technical thing that I had to be prepared for. And so going into that match, I was prepared to go to war, and we did. We had a really good match, and ultimately I didn't win, but I learned a lot about that match, or learned a lot about my wrestling and my style from that match. And then going into NCAAs, having that match, like I fully thought I should have won that match. Obviously, took a bad shot at the end, but going into NCAAs, like it was a big confidence booster. Like, hey, I can go out there and I can beat these guys. And so, kind of like wrestling Parker, I knew he's very offensive, attacks a lot, and I know Carter's got a high pace, so just from that match, I know I'm in good enough shape to wrestle with these guys. So yeah, I felt good against Carter, and I felt like it was, even though I lost, it was a confidence thing for me that kind of elevated me.
You read my mind. I was just going to ask, can you lose and gain confidence from a match? But you obviously said yes. Amanda, I want to get to this NCAA semis, and we have like a cut down version. First of all, like, did you grow up going to the NCAAs ever or watching on TV? Do you know what the atmosphere is like on Friday night? You know, it's nuts. It's electric. There's the semis on the inside. There's the blood round on the outside. It's like the most electrically charged 2 or 3 hours of wrestling that, in my eyes, exists all year between the Olympics, the Worlds, NCAA. Like, it's this one night is wild. Have you experienced that before?
No, so that was the first NCAAs that I'd ever been to, is the one that I wrestled in. So, um, I mean, like I've said before, it doesn't really change anything for me, no matter how big the stage is. I just go out there and do the same thing. If there could be nobody there, and I'd wrestle the same way. But
That's awesome.
when I walk out there, one of the things that kind of feels me is when I see a bunch of people, eyes on that match. It's one of the look to matches of the tournament, and that's kind of fires me up, and that's what gets me going. So. But as far as, that being my first time, I didn't really care about it. I mean, we'd been in big duels. There'd been a lot of people there. It's just a little bit bigger of arena and a lot more eyes. So I like that type of stuff. I like the pressure of it, and I think it makes it more fun.
I love that, man. You're firing me up, like, just to hear you say, I don't give a rip. Get me out there. Here's the match. You can kind of talk us through it, or anything you're thinking while you see this, or anything you remember. But it's 0-0. And again, this is just kind of some highlights. I know there wasn't a whole lot of scoring, but
Yeah, I think that I think he thought that it was going to be a lot easier to get to my legs than what it was. Kind of early on, he took some shots, and getting off bottom was really big for me there too. Obviously, got on a nice shot there, and his defense was pretty good.
so is
And
yours.
obviously, there he's pretty relentless, attacking and stuff like that. But wish I could have capitalized on some of those reattacks. This exchange was crazy right here.
Crazy.
Wish I could have finished that one, but that's just how wrestling goes. I mean, he's there to not give up. I'm there to not give up, and that's what the people want to see. They want to see a war when they go out there, and it's what they got. And then this is kind of the exchange that everyone talks about. Obviously hit the spin, almost got the takedown, and yeah, I come back to my feet. He's pressuring in really hard. I think he said before they worked a lot on defense before, in this or throughout the season, and kind of got lucky on the roll there, which still kind of pisses me off a little bit, but it's all right.
Uh,
You learn it, live and you learn.
how do you feel in this moment? Do you remember?
Yeah, man, that sucked. I mean, to have, everyone dreams of, making the NCAA finals, running out on Saturday night in front of everybody. It's on TV, everybody's watching. So, it sucked. But, my coaches preached to me after, just being a professional, and, you gotta, suck it up, go start cutting weight again for the next morning, and then ultimately just forget about it. And you got to wrestle back for third. I think, coming back for third shows a lot of heart that people have. Um, it's not easy to do, but if you're going to be a professional in this sport, it's kind of what you got to do. So you just got to block it out and just keep on fighting and keep on moving forward.
Man, I love that mentality. And that's the part that a lot of people, you see the match on TV, you feel happy for Parker, you feel bad for Max. Nobody's like, oh, this kid's got to go cut 3, 5, how many pounds
Yeah.
tonight and crushed. And then like have the head and to go tomorrow and give it his all and not be upset. And it's like, that's not easy.
Yeah, no, it's not. But the worst part is, you get back at like midnight. So you get back at like midnight, and then you gotta even go work out in the morning if your weight's still over. So that's not fun, but you prepare the whole season for that moment, and to wrestle your ass off for 3 days is nothing. I mean, it's all mental at that point.
Just describe me I guess you kind of did the mentality, how it felt on Saturday. Because I think you had a really close third place match. I don't remember your Conti semi, but if I'm not
Mhm.
mistaken, right?
Yeah, it was more just, nobody's body feels good. Everyone's got black eyes. They're all sore. So, I mean, I knew I was hurting, but I knew the guy across from me was hurting as well. So the mentality was just go out there and, like I said, just go out there and have a war. Don't shut off how your body feels and just go. And I wrestled Jackson Smith in the Conci semis. We actually went to overtime. I took him down in like 10 seconds into the overtime. And then me and Dustin Plott had a pretty crazy match. Uh, he was up like 4-1 and then took him down with like 45 seconds left and then cut him to put him up by one. And then, yeah, I took him down with like 20 seconds left to win it 6-5. So that was a pretty crazy one, but it was fun. It was a good match.
I mean, losing on Friday night hurts, but man, winning overtime and then coming back and getting 2 period takedowns to get
Yeah.
third as a freshman, man, you had to feel good walking away.
Yeah, I was proud of myself after that. Obviously, I didn't get what I totally wanted, but I felt like I had learned a lot about myself throughout that tournament. And I think I showed people that, the next 3 years I'm here and I'm ready to win it. So obviously upset with the outcome, but also proud of myself at the same time. And I know my family and coaches were proud of me. So, always feels good when you get the support from them.
For sure. Kind of switching topics to freestyle, right? When did you first wrestle freestyle, and like when did you really get into freestyle? Because sometimes kids, they do a little freestyle here and there, but and then like boom, this year I like got serious and I went to Fargo and tried to win, right?
Yes.
Give me the breakdown there.
So Fargo, when I won Fargo, that was my third ever freestyle tournament. And the two previous ones were that same year. So it was probably my sophomore year. After my sophomore year going into junior year, maybe I have it mixed up. Maybe
Sure.
it's after freshman year, but whatever it was, Fargo was my third ever freestyle tournament. But like the thing I tell people is like wrestling freestyle and wrestling folk style for me doesn't change much. Like I'm gonna hit the same attacks, I'm gonna hand fight the same way. The only thing that really changes is like you don't scramble, and I'm not much of a scrambler myself. So I tell people all the time, like it going from style to style, like it doesn't change much for me.
Sure. When did you first say to yourself, I want to be a world champ? And not just I want to, because everybody wants to be an Olympic and world champ, but like, again, back to the like, I think this is possible. I believe this is possible. And that's what I'm going for.
Yeah. I had that written down in my notes app for my goals probably since I was a freshman, sophomore in high school. So I've had it written down for a while. I think the first time I really believed that, or had the ability to believe that I was going to be a world champ was after I made the U17 team. Uh, Ended up getting bronze there. And so then after that, I've been on a kind of a vision quest to go win a world title. And then it took me 3 years to eventually do it. When I was 18, lost at the U20 World Team Trials. When I was 19, lost at the U20 World Team Trials, and then finally turned 20 in my last year and, ended up getting it done, making the team, and then, just making it happen at Worlds.
Yeah. And I want to kind of get to Worlds and watch. There's two, you win the gold medal by a tech or a pretty big margin. You won the semis with a late score. I want to watch one of those, but I'll let you pick. Would you rather watch the finals or the semis?
Let's do the finals.
Let's do
We
the
can do the finals.
finals. All right, Amanda, can you rip up that gold medal match? And same deal. Tell us like who you're wrestling, what you knew about him. I think was it a Russian? Wrestling for UWW.
Yep. Yep. It was Russian. Didn't know much about him. I knew that he was going to attack more than all the other guys, which I like actually. Like when I wrestled the Iranian, I knew he wasn't really going to attack at all. So the Iranian dude maybe shot one time the entire match and was super defensive. And I knew a little bit more about the Iranian just because I'm pretty sure he was ranked like 18th in the world on the senior level, won the Asian championships. So that to me was the gold medal match. I was pretty confident heading into this one. But yeah, right away, this kid just tries to, push forward like a lot of them do. And so a big thing for me was snapping and moving, not letting them get their hands set on me. And yeah, those were kind of the big things. We didn't really game plan, like I kind of said earlier, kind of just went in with the mentality of, hey, you can tech this kid, so go out there and do it.
That's great.
And yeah, a lot of shot fakes, a lot of hand fighting. Uh, he was pretty athletic. Like when I was shooting, he was or the first couple shots, he runs corner pretty well. So he jumped out of a couple of the first ones, but after attack and attack, there's only so many that he was able to defend, and ultimately I kind of just broke through.
Yeah, your attacks are great. Your attack rate is good, but like your defense and position is so like it's like so hard to like. It's really good. Is what I'm getting at. Like, where did you learn positioning, or is it like everywhere, or is there some influence where you're like, man, I really worked on my position here.
Yeah, it's really just starts with hand fighting, not reaching. You kind of just develop it as you get into the college room. The one thing I kind of give credit to my one of my high school coaches, Derek Sikora, worked with him ever since I was like a freshman in high school. And the first thing that he wanted to teach me was about hand fighting because that's kind of the biggest thing once you get into college. So he kind of taught me the basics of hand fighting, clearing ties and stuff like that, staying in good position. So that's kind of where, it all started for me. And then once, you get into the college room and you're wrestling guys who are, top guys in the country, you have to learn, really have to learn how to hand fight. So always just making sure your hands are down, never letting your hands rest, kind of snapping off, moving this guy's feet, and then just well, the big thing is once you break a tie and you come back in, making sure you're ready, your hands are down right there, you're faking, you're snapping off, making this guy, that's the shot that makes me mad that I didn't score on.
Oh, it's
That's the best
crazy.
shot I've ever hit that I didn't score a takedown on by far.
That was really nice. Ah,
Yeah. Kind of just timed that one.
yeah. Well, you guess you got one right. His head hit out of bounds. Would you get a shot clock before this, and then just the one there?
That was definitely the slickest shot I've hit that I didn't get a takedown on. So it's
That
kind of
was a
funny.
beautiful shot. And crazy defense by him to not give up a takedown.
Yeah, like I was saying, he was pretty, athletic once, guys shot on him. He runs corner right away. Right there, he got in on a little high crotch, but I was able to when he was shooting, I was able to catch an underhook most of the times. I had my hands down and kind of ready for that. So, um, offensively, he couldn't really do much. I mean, he didn't really get close to scoring at all.
Yeah. Another shot clock with 3 seconds.
Yeah, I don't know if that's on. I think that was on him or something.
Yeah. We're going to hit the break. So, how do you feel? 2-0 with the break. Feel pretty solid about the way things are going?
Yeah, I felt really good going into the second period. Lungs felt good, body felt good. I just felt like I needed to get to the legs more, and you'll see here pretty early on. Jane Cox and Michael Kemmer sitting in their corner said when I was clearing the collar tie and he was circling, it's a good time to shoot. So you see here pretty early on, I do that, get to the legs, and then he eventually kicks out of it. But kind of good corner coaching from them, make a good little adjustment on it, but yeah, I felt confident going into this second period. I knew that my offense was too good and that, defensively I was solid too. So, um, got a little sweaty out there. That arena was boiling hot.
Got that Jaden Cox syndrome going on.
Exactly.
Super
Yeah, I
sweaty.
sweat a lot. So
That's
he
cool though
gets
that
it.
you got advice in the corner and that you immediately implement it, or so
Yep.
you know.
You'll see it here. It's not right away, but you'll see it.
When you clear
I'll
and come
show you what
back.
I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
please do.
Yep. Like see how I clear them there a little bit. Um, it's right here. It's coming up, I believe. Right
Nice.
here. Snapped him. He moved to the side, got
Whew.
right in on us. But yeah, he was pretty crafty in there. I'll give him his props to that.
Yeah, this dude's
But
tough to score on. You've been in twice, pretty deep, and he's able to
yep. Yeah, he
defend.
was athletic, but I mean just he didn't do much besides shoot a high crotch and push. So I was ready for that.
Yeah. At any
And
point, you
then
feel him slowing down?
yeah, once I go up 4-0, actually when I went up 6-0, when I went up 4-0, he started talking to me and I couldn't really understand what he was saying because there's probably a language barrier there. But I think he was a little upset that I was beating him. So he started talking to me a little bit, and then I kind of just put it on him even more. So he probably wasn't too happy about that. And then this was a nice shot here.
Oh, it's beautiful. That was
Yeah, I don't think he liked that one because he got up and started talking to me a little bit.
right after this.
Yeah, I
Oh.
couldn't understand what he was saying, but it didn't sound like it was too friendly.
Sometimes you don't need to know the words,
No,
the tone, or the while
right
you're
there,
wrestling. All right, here.
right there when I kind of pushed him back. Yeah.
Push me back, bro. Got him rattled.
Yep. So then he kind of wrestled hard or not even really that hard, but picked up his pace a little bit. But then I kind of just picked him apart.
Oh man,
He ends up shooting right here, stuffed it, ran
his
corner.
re-attack so crisp, man. It's like not just defending, but boom, in on his
Yep. So
leg.
after that takedown right there, I was like, all right, now let's just try and open it up and let's try and tech him. So I think what is there, 52 seconds left? So I end up getting a takedown with like, I don't know, 10 seconds left. And then I try and shoot again, but we'll get to that.
I'm
So
guessing
then,
you've
yeah,
watched this a couple times.
I've watched it a good amount of times. Yeah. I've analyzed this match probably like 6 times after it. So,
That's great.
yeah. And yeah, he's just trying to do whatever he can. But I mean, at this point, it's just stay in good position, circle, hand fight, and then take a good shot. Right here is when right there, finish that one.
Boom.
And then right here, see me give a little look to the crowd, look to my family up in the stands, like finally got it done.
He ain't scoring these points in 11. Oh shoot, going back for it.
Right there. I wanted the text so bad, shot off the whistle, and I went to put my foot down and there wasn't a mat there. And so I just slipped. And yeah, didn't end up getting the tech, but it was a really cool feeling to finally be able to, accomplish that goal that I've had written down since I was in high school, a young high schooler. It was a pretty cool moment for me. So said to my coaches after, it's been a long time coming for that, and it's pretty cool to, get the U20 belt under or the U20 title under my belt. So yeah, that was a fun tournament and it was a good time.
Is that is this the biggest win? This or the semis, or is this the biggest win you've ever had?
Um, I would say probably biggest tournament win. I mean, getting third at NCAAs is probably more difficult than the U20 tournament is. But yeah, I would put this up there as probably one of the biggest, accomplishments that I have. Obviously, it's not really that big of an accomplishment to get second at Big Tens, but
You say what you want. That's not many people serving the
yeah,
world.
it's tough for me to get, excited about a tournament unless I win it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I definitely put that up there as probably one of the biggest tournaments that I've ever won. NCAAs was probably, a bigger deal for me and kind of
Mm-hmm.
put my name on the map a little bit more.
Sure.
But, representing the USA and finally bringing a world title home, and not just me as an individual, but us as a team, just completely dominating the rest of the field. I mean, I think we scored the most points Team USA has in a while, so it was pretty cool.
Yeah, that had to be such a we were talking about this before we started, but just such a fun experience to not only win yourself but be amongst a team of killers that win the whole
Yeah.
tournament. So congrats on that. Which takes us back into NCAA wrestling, right? Which is just like right around the corner. But like for you, you just trained and peaked. What is and I don't know how. Are you just back right in lockstep with Minnesota? And when they start preseason, you're gonna start preseason, or they're like, hey, there's a little, I need a time off, or maybe just somewhat of an adjusted schedule from everybody else who hasn't been trying to peak all summer long.
Yeah, so how our schedule kind of works is the month of August is completely off for our team. That's the time we get to go home. But obviously for me, that was kind of when I started to peak for the World Championships. So and I've been training the entire month of August while my team was back. So coming back, me and my coaches talked about it, just giving me a little time to, get a mental restart. I think that's a little bit more important than the physical part of it. Takes only a couple days for, your body to recover, but, just having a little mental break from the sport and getting a little time off the mat, is important for not only for me, but like just coming back into the college season. Cause I mean, it's a grind, but I mean, I've been on the mat, since I've been back. I've wrestled a couple of times. I wrestled this morning. So I'm not completely doing nothing, but, there's definitely a little schedule adjustment. Just giving me a little bit more time to, more of a mental break from the sport and kind of just, get time to relax, see my family, hang out with my friends. But I mean, I'm still lifting, still working out, wrestling a couple of times a week. But once season rolls around, I'm going to be ready to go and it's going to be full steam ahead. And there's no breaks from there.
Sure. A very exciting season coming up, right? You're ranked number
Mhm.
one, and I think last year it was like we can't wait to see him wrestle Parker in the semis and the finals, Big Tens with Carter this year, right? I'm sure this is no duh, like Ferrari. This everybody wants to see Ferrari, McEnelly. What's going to happen? Iowa, Minnesota, kind of rivals as it is. Your thoughts on a potential matchup, or maybe inevitable if you guys duel, right? Matchup with Ferrari.
Yeah, I can't wait for it. I mean, he's obviously a tough competitor, but I know I'm also a tough competitor. So, I think two people think they're the best and they come and they clash in a match, think fireworks are going to happen. So I expect it to be, a fun, entertaining match for the fans. I know it's, a big one people are talking about, but I mean, he's got to come and see me at the end of the day. Like, um, he hasn't wrestled the full college season. I have. So I'm excited for it. I know he's a good competitor. He has good wins and stuff like that. But, so do I. So, I can't wait for that matchup. I know the fans can't wait for it. Got nothing but respect for him. But, at the end of the day, we're both competitors and we both want to win the NCAAs. We both want to win Big Tens. And, obviously, Minnesota, Iowa dual history, it goes back forever. So that's kind of one that, sets in a little harder. And, when we face Iowa and they face us, it means a little bit more. So I mean, we could face as early as national duels. Like we could face that early. If not, wrestling him and Carver, I can't wait for that. I can't wait to go into Carver and, to have that matchup. I hope they put it as the last match. Um, Lights are going out again here. Over. We got him on a little bit better, but yeah, um, I can't wait for the matchup with him. I know the fans are gonna love it. But it's just the same thing as every other match. Go in there, prepare for it, prepare throughout the season, and then just go in there and wrestle and let the chips fall where they may.
You nailed it, man. So yeah, I'm glad you're excited. I am, as I know pretty much all wrestling fans are. Just got a couple of short things as we move to the end of this. First segment is called wins and whoopins. So like from your entire wrestling career, from match one as a little kid to the one you just had, I want you to think of, or can you think of one win? It could be like your best or favorite, but it can just be a memorable win. Like this kid in Pee Wee used to always beat me, and I finally beat him in sixth grade or whatever it was. Just one win that stands out as memorable for any reason. And then like one whooping. Everybody's had an ass whooping. I bet you had one at some point, even though you're really good, right? Think of one whooping and one win that stand out, and you can do either one first.
Probably a memorable win that stands out. Hmm. I'll give you two. So the first one is funny. Ryder Rogotsky, when he was younger, he was a complete hammer coming through, and he would pin me all the time when we were in youth wrestling. And so we get to, high school, and I think I'm in seventh or eighth grade. We meet up at this, small open tournament, and I finally beat him. So, and that was kind of a big win for me because I'd always lost to him as a kid growing up. He used to pin me all the time. And so that was a big win for me growing up. And then kind of the other match that's, memorable to me is definitely beating Dustin Plott in the NCAA for third place. He's what, 4 or 5 time All-American. I don't know what it is, but NCAA finalist. So, getting that win under my belt was big. And then for a loss, One loss that kind of sticks out to me as an ass whooping. I would say probably U20s. I was 18, so it was just after the U17s. Connor Mirasola beat me like 10-2, something like that, at the in like the second round of the World Team Trials there. So yeah, that was one that, definitely got my butt kicked in that match and definitely learned a lot from that one. So I would pick, those matches as kind of the good ones and the bad.
Okay, excellent. And last thing, very simple. Um, Max McEnelly, who's your favorite all-time wrestler? All-time favorite wrestler. I think I said that wrong. Who's your all-time
My
favorite wrestler?
my favorite all-time wrestler, Brandon Eggum.
We're not just trying to score brownie points here, are we?
Yeah, no. Brandon Eggum's one of them. He was fun to watch back in the day.
For sure.
But also, I would say Jordan Burroughs. I've looked up to that dude a lot since I was a little kid. I used to watch his matches and replay them a million times to figure out how he did that. So, JB is someone that, I've gotten to meet. And, that was a pretty cool moment for me.
Dude, you should go train. Who am I? It'd be fun to train with him, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It'd be really cool. It'd
Yeah.
be really
I
fun.
feel like that's something that could happen at some point. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Let's make it happen.
Yeah. All right. Jordan, let's go. Get your butt up to
Yeah.
Minnesota.
George, come to Minnesota. You can train here for a couple of days.
Yeah. Excellent, man. Well, yeah, that really takes us kind of down to the end of the line. That's a cool story. I appreciate you coming on here, and man, you are one of the most exciting guys in the NCAA, and one of the guys I'm most excited to see wrestle this year and the rest of your career and freestyle and everything beyond that. So I'm gonna leave you with the final word to say anything you want to say about anything.
Yeah. Just thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. You guys put on a good podcast and put good show. And super excited for this next season. And go Gophers. That's all I got.
All right, go Gophers. Thanks so much, Max McEnelly. And that'll do for today's show. Thanks everybody else for tuning in. Thanks, Max, for hopping on, and we will see you guys all later. Thanks. Bye.
Thank you.